Hey guys, let's talk about ads for a moment. Ads. Everybody's always talking about ads. Man, oh man, what a misconstrued concept if I ever talked about one. There is so much misinformation, disinformation about ads, it's not even funny. Now, depending on what niche you're in, depending on what area you're in, there is tons of different ways that you can run ads for your business. But the majority of people are going to use either Google ads or Facebook ads. Now, here's where it gets interesting. For time's sake, we are going to use the home service industry or home service niches, if you will, like power washing or pressure washing, roofing, landscaping, you name it. We're going to use that as the example here or as the guinea pig, okay? So every niche is different when it comes to ads, okay? So there are multiple steps that you need to take in order to make sure that your ads or you are getting the most money out of the ad spend that you are putting into your ads. So let's talk about ad spend itself. So again, one of the biggest misconceptions out there is, a lot of business owners will see ads running for agencies, digital marketing agencies, people that run ads, things of that nature, and they see these clips that are meant and designed to capture your attention. And these clips might say something like, and we do it too, to be honest with you. But the problem is the majority of their clients, a lot of times, are not getting those results, right? It's just certain areas, certain clients get incredible results, and some clients, a lot of times, don't. Now, if you're using proper micro testing and things of that nature, at the end of the day, you should always see some type of positive result in the end game, whether it be a short amount of time or a long amount of time. But home services, guys, is one of the easiest niches to tackle, not just for search engine optimization, but again, ads. So back to ad spend. So again, one of the biggest misconceptions is that, again, because of these ads that are constantly being played by agencies, is that you can get away with running an incredible ad for like a couple $100 a month. Guys, in most places, that is never going to happen. If you have any type of competition that is also running ads, if you're in a demographical area that has a high population, if your niche is in high demand, there's so many different variables that go into play here to create, you have to really be careful on how you set parameters when you go to create ads. Okay. So I can tell you right now, again, $2 to $3 cost per click is not an average. It's a goal, and we do it for quite a few of our clients, but that's not a normal thing. Okay. It's really not. It's something that you want to strive for sure, but not every area will ever allow you to get down to $2 to $3 cost per click. And it really has a lot to do with the niches as well. For instance, so we have multiple roofing clients. We have quite a few landscaping clients. We have a young man who has a lawn mowing business, and he does some landscaping and things of that nature as well. His ad spend budget is dramatically less, and we can get away with that than 95% of our roofing clients, right? So let me explain why. So a roof is extremely expensive on average. Well over $10,000 is what it's going to be. So only a very, select group of people are going to be really looking for roofs. And it's something that you don't do unless you absolutely have to have it. You got leaks, whatever the case is, right? A storm's come down, tree fell on your house. That's why you buy a roof. You don't buy a roof because you're like, I think I want to change this roof up. It happens, right? People that want to switch to aluminum roofings, things of that nature. But landscaping and lawn mowing, completely different ballparks, right? So people need their yard mowed, especially in the summertime or in the warmer seasons, a couple times a month, right? Sometimes more than that. It's also way less costly. So it's a lot easier for us to micro test on something like that in most areas and get you down well under $10 cost per click once we micro test and find the proper ads with the proper offer that we talk about with our set clients. Roofing, on the other hand, right, dramatically more expensive. And again, depends on the area. We have a roofer that's somewhat relatively close to us. Well, it is just as saturated as some of the largest cities in the world, oddly enough. There's about 100 plus roofers within a 30-mile radius that are actively putting themselves out there online, whether it be through their Google business profile, ads, social media. They are there. So we have to fight that, right? We have to go against that, which is fine. We're prepared to do that. But search engine optimization a lot of times is not enough. You absolutely have to run heavy ads in order to keep up with that competition, right? And in order to really crush that competition. So this is kind of the idea that I always talk to people about, business owners wise, on why you should really spend more on ads and why you should do more with ads, especially in the niches like roofing that are just kind of not peculiar, but just a whole different ballgame, way more expensive, right? So check it out. If I can get you on a roof, what I tell clients to look for is, how much, at the end of the day, how much does it cost you for me to put you on a roof, right? If I can get you on a roof for $200, I'm not talking about cost per click, I'm not talking about PPC or anything like that. None of the crazy analytics, right? I leave that to my pros. I leave that to my ad specialist team. But if I can get one of my clients on a roof for $200, would that not make sense, right? Let's say you only did $10,000 for a roof, okay? $10,000. Well, if you get to pocket 3 from that or 4 from that, it was really strong profit, right? And I got you on for $200. Think about that. What is the multiplier on that, right? I'm not even thinking it out loud. It's like, freaking well over 10x, right? Well over 10x. So in the same concept, wouldn't you be happy if I got you on a roof for $2,000? In some areas you have to, right? We have some clients spend over $5,000 a month in ad spend, and it lands them at least 3 or 4 roofs, right? But, if I can get you $100,000 of roofs, right? And you're profiting, let's say 25 to 30,000 on that or more, and you've only spent 5,000 in ad spend, well, that's well over 5x. So would that not make sense in the big scheme of things? That's how I try to desperately get business owners to look at how ads work, because it's always a sticker shock to a lot of businesses. They just don't understand. The world is changing. The way digital marketing is changing, the way that people get in front of other people is dramatically changing. Is it still effective to get out there and knock door to door? Abso-freaking-lutely. I tell people to do that all the time in the beginning that do not have a budget. But once you start getting a budget, the only way to truly grow your business is online, and that is where agencies like ours come into play. So, again, I ask you, would you not be willing to spend $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month if I can get you on at least 2, 3, 4 roofs where you are making anywhere between, $15,000 to $30,000 in net profit? Of course you would do that, right? But the problem is getting people to think like that on the long scale, right? On the bigger scale of things, if that makes sense. Because they just can't get out of their head of that initial cost point. We're not making that money. That's just the money that we're using for ad spend, right? So just keep that in mind. Now, depending on the niche, a lot of times ads are a lot less. There's quite a few areas out there where we can get away with a $500 ad spend budget. But in most areas, especially for home service guys, you're going to be looking at a minimum of $1,500 if you really want to make a dent and you really need to get that phone ringing off the hook. Whether it be, junk removal, which that's, I own a junk removal company as well, oddly enough, with one of my clients. We put that together about 6 months ago. Some of you know about that, some of you don't. We do a lot of the same acquisition. We actually just took our ad spend budget and tripled it because we knew that area is overly saturated with junk removal, and it's a good junk removal area, but we have to spend more. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. We just have to do it. Kind of like finding really good employees. You just have to keep going through the process over and over of all the ding-dongs, that come and go and don't want to work and don't, they say this, but then they do that. It's the exact same principle in reality. So if you have any questions on ad spend, how it pertains to your business, definitely give us a shout. I am huge on educating people on this factor. But at the end of the day, guys, it's so incredibly important for you as a business owner, especially if you have a home service business, to understand how ad spend works and how it affects you directly. Now, last thing I do want to go over with is, what type of leads are you getting? So another major disconnect that I see is business owners are saying, oh, well, I don't want a bunch of bullshit leads. I don't want a bunch of crap leads, right? Well, there's no magic button for this, okay? You can't just magically make the spammers and the people that are trying to sell you stuff and the people that are just trying to get estimates to find the cheapest person. There's no magic button to make those people go away. There are systems in place that folks like us create to make those problems for you go away. But they cost money, right? They cost time. They cost energy, which in total is why it costs money to begin with. So the way it works is if you spend $2,000 or $3,000 in ad spend a month, you might get 50, 60, 70 calls. Half of those, make no mistake, half of those are going to be people, or if not more, are going to be people trying to sell you something, or someone spamming you, not scamming, spamming you. You do get scammers every once in a while too. We help out with that as well. But spamming, people trying to obviously sell you stuff, other digital marketers trying to sell you stuff, the list goes on, right? So you're going to have to deal with those calls yourself, and you're going to have to answer every single one of those calls, and you're going to have to treat every customer or client like they have $1 million in their pocket and like they're the last client on the world. And when that mindset changes in your mind, right? And when you truly start thinking in that way, every single thing will change for your business. Mark my words. Now, eventually you're going to get to the point where you just don't want to deal with those calls though. Well, once you're making enough money, we can create a team of people or just one or two solid virtual assistants or team members, if you will, hire them on full time, and they will screen your calls for you, right? So no more bullcrap, right? No more silly calls, right? No more you having to estimate or, do some type of over the phone estimate for someone, okay? You can train someone in about a week or two, if not less, with phone scripts on how to deal with that. And then they will in turn, like a sifter, give you the good leads. So there's so many different things in place, guys, that can be done for ads. And I just wanted to make a video on this because there seems to be a lot of confusion and disconnect in the home service world as to how ads work. Now, I'd like to make some other ads on like another couple videos, content videos on e-commerce ads and regular brick and mortar service ads. But for the time being, to keep this video under 15 minutes, we're going to keep it simple. So if you have any other questions, comments, concerns, give me a shout. Keep it real, guys. Talk to you soon.